Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini, and I'm back for day 4 of my 12 days of last-minute DIY gifts video series. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to make my quick and easy drawstring pouch. Now this little pouch is going to be another quick 5-minute make because we're working with stretchy fabric. Now if you haven't worked with stretchy fabric before, this is going to be a great introductory project for you just to kind of get a feel for how the fabric handles. Now I do recommend that you install a ballpoint jersey needle in your sewing machine, but if you don't have one, it's not going to be the end of the world. Just go ahead and use a universal needle and it's not going to really hurt the project. Now this cotton spandex does not require any fancy finishes. You don't need a serger or anything, so feel free to use things like repurposed old t-shirts. If you sew apparel and you have stretch knits scraps in your stash, go ahead and pull them out. Or of course, you can purchase cotton spandex and different type of stretch knit blends in a variety of different colors and prints. Now let's go over the supplies you're going to need to make one so we can jump right into it. So all you're going to need is one piece of fabric that measures 5 inches by 12.5 inches long for the body of the bag. And this fabric here is a double brush polyester spandex knit. And these two prints are just a cotton spandex. So a variety of different types of stretch knit fabrics that you can use. You can even cut up old t-shirts, things like that would also work great. You're also going to need 2 strips that measure 1.25 inches by the same 12.5. And these guys we're going to use for our little string pulls here to close up the pouch. Then you can use either a bodkin or a safety pin. Aside from that, you just need a sewing machine that has straight stitch and zigzag stitch capabilities. So the first step is to take your piece of fabric, that's the exterior, and we're going to flip it pretty side face down so that we can turn under the 2 short ends, both of these ends, by about 3/4 inch towards the wrong side. Now we'll head over to the sewing machine and we're going to zigzag stitch. We're using a 2.5 stitch width and 2.5 stitch length for our zigzag. We don't want it to be too wide. And we're going to stitch close to this bottom edge, but making sure that we're catching it through both layers of fabric. And we'll repeat the same thing to the opposite short end. Now I like to stitch from the wrong side here so I can see how far over I'm keeping my zigzag stitches. So if you're going to do the same thing that I'm doing, make sure that you match your top thread to your bobbin thread as well, because what you're actually going to see on the right side of the little pouch is the bobbin thread. And make sure you backstitch at the beginning and end. Now we're going to flip this pretty side face up, connect these 2 short ends, line everything up, and we're going to stitch down both sides to seal up the bag. But you want to make sure to start just below the casing and backstitch a couple of times to secure it, and backstitch again when you get to the bottom side. And for this, I'm going to go back to my straight stitch on my sewing machine. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance to stitch down both sides. Now we'll reach in through the top, flip this out, and you can see that the body of your bag is complete. Now for the drawstring part, grab your safety pin and the 2 strips that you cut at 1.25 inches by 12.5. You can see that right after I cut them, they're already starting to roll on themselves. And most knits are going to do this. When you stretch them out, they will roll to the pretty side of the fabric, which unfortunately covers up whatever the design is. But if I just tug on them like this, and the reason I have so much stretch here is because I cut these along the crosswise grain. All right, make sure that you're cutting perpendicular to the selvage edge. So you want to get the most stretch. Notice this way, I'll get some stretch, but not quite as much as this direction. If you cut it the other way and you still have a stretchy fabric, it'll still work fine, so don't worry too much about it. So cut your strips so that the length, the 12.5 inch measurement, is running along that stretchiest side when you pull it like this. And you're just going to give them a good pull till they totally roll in on themselves. Then we'll take our safety pin and insert it on one end, close it up, and the 2 strips, one you're going to start, say if I start on the right side, I'm going to go through the front casing, through to the back, and come out on the same side of the bag that I came out. And then I'll go in from the other side and make a backwards letter C to come out on the other. And that is how you end up with 2 little pulls on each end that when you cinch them up, they close the entire bag. So I'm going to go in from the front, feed this through to the back one, and come out on the same side. So there's the first one. I went in here, I went around, and came out on this side. So leave that one there. Then we'll do the same thing with the other guy, but instead of starting on any of the sides that have short ends on it, we need to start on here so we can come back around the opposite side. Take this off. And there you can see, you can cinch it in to see if it works. And once it does, you know you did it right. Open it up. And I just like to tie knots on the ends of these. I just wrap it once around my finger, slide it off my finger, and tie a little knot. And there you have it. These are great for keeping all different little types of treasures, small gifts, and of course you can always play around with the dimensions and make these larger or even smaller if you'd like. And there you have it, a quick and easy drawstring pouch. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit it with the thumbs up below. Feel free to share it with any of your crafty friends, and don't forget to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you plan to use your little drawstring pouches for, and I will see you in the next video.